And welcome into another episode of the Alliance Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Bam Rivers, and hopefully up to this point, you can see the diversity and the versatility of this organization. I mean, we've had the interns and Tyler and Ximena interview on this podcast. We've also had project manager Owen. We've had operations manager Big Mike. We've also had, and I can't forget her, Miss Sue Haley, who is the administrative head and the director of First Impressions. Now, what I didn't know is that my next guest has recently got promoted, so he is no longer a project manager. He's actually the market manager of Columbus, Georgia, and that's Chris E. Man, welcome to the show, man. And congratulations, did I get that right? Columbus market manager?
That's right.
So first of all, man, talk to me about this. Congratulations again, first of all. How does it feel to know that the hard work that you've put in here at Alliance Specialty Contractor has resulted in this new opportunity?
Well, I can tell you right now, as soon as Jody offered the position to me, it's like my adrenaline just started pumping.
Most definitely.
Let's get it some more.
Well, man, listen, this is something I know. Now, how long have you been here with Alliance, Chris?
It's the 7th month, so about 9 months.
Not even a year.
No.
Not even a year. You're killing the game. So I want to talk to you about this. This is a veteran-owned organization, which I know. I know that you are also a veteran. And once I want to thank you for your service. So talk to me about your history in terms of being a veteran and how you feel like it helps you here at Alliance.
I believe it helps me as far as the leadership aspect of it. Not only do I get to know each one of my coworkers individually on the leadership side, but it helps with the homeowners as well. Just the teaching points and the
just the overall communication, basically.
That's right. Yeah, that's correct.
So when you talk about communication, and listen, the one thing I love about this podcast is that we have a wealth of guests who always have different insights, no pun intended, but they always come in with their own experience, but everything seems to come to the same conclusion. Alliance is about family, it's about communication, it's about love. And you brought up your customers. So being a project manager, now being the market manager for the entire area of Columbus in this market, talk to us about how that customer service has to extend for Alliance to keep growing.
It's a pretty tough question for me to answer right now.
Well, I mean, what do you feel the market needs that Alliance is going to bring to the market? Because, see, the one thing about this organization, I know two things for certain. One, this is a great organization, and two, not a lot of people know about it, right? So this is a market that's void of the greatness that is Alliance Specialty Contractor. What is missing in the market? What does the market need that you guys are going to give to it?
Just knowledge. That's the main thing. Like, we still come up on a lot of homeowners that don't even know their insurance can cover storm damage on their homes.
Wow.
Even if it's 40 shingles missing on your roof or 50 hail dings, it's all covered.
And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize is that you guys are in the roofing and the construction business, but you're in the education business.
Right.
And I feel like there are a lot of things as homeowners that we don't know we can do to prevent roof damage. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So what are some of those things that we can do to be more proactive and not damage our roof to make the job on you guys a whole lot harder?
Like what we're doing right now, doing the podcast, doing the interviews.
Right.
Just getting it out there in the public and letting them know that with all these storms we've had and the future storms we're going to be having, we got your back.
Absolutely. Chris, let me ask you this question. Being a veteran, the one thing you know is serving, okay? Yeah. And I know for a fact that you've served before you were even in the military. I know that's the kind of person you are. I know that's the kind of heart that you have when it comes to your family, when it comes to people that you don't know. How does it feel to you knowing that you're in an organization that is not just run by veterans such as yourself, but an organization that really cares about customers and not just care about getting another job and just drawing another paycheck?
That is the main thing for me. It's like I've said in my interview with you before at the news station.
Absolutely.
It makes it feel like a family. There's not a whole bunch of, you need to go do this, you need to go do that. It's let's go do this and let's go do that. And if we ever need anything, the boss man's there to help us out.
Absolutely.
Adiana's is there to help us out. Even with me, one of the Auburn market guys could call me. I'm there to help them. one of my guys will be there to help him. It just feels right.
Absolutely.
There's really no way to really explain that.
Some things you can't really put into words. They're inexplicable, right? It just feels right. And doing the right thing feels right, so that's what you're going to do.
That's right.
So, Chris, listen, man, you and I, it's always a pleasure to get to talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
Because whether you know it or not, you're a blessing every time I see you, because I know what you're doing out there in the world. I know the heart that you have for people, and I just want to encourage you to keep going, all right? So the one thing that I always do, I'm going to start calling this my Alliance Insight Hot Seat, right? Because I always ask people in the hot seat like yourself, what knowledge can you drop on not just people who are coming into the organization in the future, but people in this world? What knowledge and what encouragement can you drop on us to make us feel like no matter how bad it gets, we can take the next step and we can make it to the next day?
Don't stop believing. That's really it.
That's it.
Just don't stop believing.
Absolutely. Well, look, my boy Chris, appreciate you, man, being a guest on the podcast. And again, congratulations from project manager to Columbus, Georgia market manager. Correct?
Appreciate it.
Man, this guy is phenomenal. That's Chris Eady, and he's been our most recent guest here on the Alliance Insights podcast. Now, as always, at the end of the podcast, we want to give you what's called Alliance Affirmations. This is an opportunity for me to spit some knowledge and hopefully encourage you. So I just want to tell you a quick story. One thing I learned a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen, is that you should never make a point without telling a story. You should never tell a story without making a point. So when I'm a storyteller, that's why. I'm not trying to put you to sleep. I'm trying to give you life. So I was training one of my athletes last evening. If you don't know, I also train athletes in a camp I have called Camp Renaissance. I want to develop their strength. I want to develop their speed, their agility, their quickness, but also their mindset and their heart. Because a Renaissance individual is somebody who is well-versed in a lot of different areas. So while they want to be stronger on the field, I want them to be stronger internally and off the field as well. So as I was finished training one of my athletes, a mother walked by with her 2 sons. And again, this is why it's so important for you to live a life of encouragement and really do things to the best of your ability, because what happens is you attract those type of things. So as the mother saw me, she said, hey, my oldest son is over there practicing baseball. Can my 14-year-old get some work in with you? I said, absolutely. So as he came over, I asked him a question. I said, hey, what school do you go to? He's about to be a freshman in high school, and he plays running back and receiver. And I asked him a question. The question I asked him was, hey, what does a great running back run with? And he looked at me and he says, I said, do you know that? He said, yes, sir. And I said, well, what do you think it is? And he didn't know the answer. He immediately looked at me and he said, I didn't mean to lie to you. And I looked at him and I said, why didn't you feel comfortable enough to tell me you didn't know? And he said, well, I didn't want to let you down. And that's where I looked at him and I said, listen, nobody in this world needs anything from you other than you being the best version of yourself, which means that your standards are your standards and you don't have to worry about pleasing anybody but you. This was a young man who knew that I was a football coach, who knew that I had knowledge. And in that moment, before we had said 10 words to each other, he thought that I was going to be disappointed because he didn't know something. So he felt as if he had to say, I know, when he really didn't know. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. It is okay not to know something. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be flawed, because your flaws will make you beautiful. Your mistakes will make you grow. There's an adage that you might have heard, and it says practice makes perfect. It's one of the biggest lies I've ever heard in my life. You know why? Because practice can never make perfect. Practice makes progress. If practice made perfect, you would never need to practice. So what I want you to do is stop going along with people say just because people say it. You hear people say it is what it is? No, ladies and gentlemen, it is what you make it. And I want that young man to know that he can feel free to make mistakes in front of me all day long, because it is my job to help correct those mistakes. Understand that you're not going to be perfect and you're not going to know everything, but that's what makes you perfect in him. Make sure that you're not walking around trying to please people, because people just need to be loved by you and not pleased by you. Hey, it's your boy Jonathan Bam Rivers. This has been another episode of the Alliance Inside Podcast. I know you're loving it. That's why I'll be coming back, and we ain't going nowhere. Remember, with Alliance Specialty Contractor, they're always building better roofs, but more importantly, they're building better relationships. We'll see you next time. God bless.